4.2 word problems, and there's 2 steps. It's multiplying fractions. So let's look at one of the word problems. Sam has 3/4 paint. He uses 2/3 of it to paint a door. How much paint does he use? How much paint is left? So the key is to know that they're asking us to do 2 things. That's the main thing, is like, what is it asking us to do? Well, how much paint does he use? Well, he uses 2/3 of 3/4, which is what we've been working on, multiplying 3/4 of 2/3. So first thing they're asking us to do is multiply. Then it's saying, well, how much paint is left? Well, we know that left means subtraction. So how do we figure that out? Well, there's a couple ways. First, if we multiply, and we've been learning how to find greatest common factor within to simplify within. So we've got, oh, whoops, I can simplify here too. 2 goes into itself once, 2 goes into 4 twice. So now I have 1/2. 1/2. That shows me that I used 1/2 of the paint. Now, in order to find what paint is left, I first have to say, well, what did I start with? I started with 3/4. And I used 1/2, which I can't just subtract. I have to find a common denominator. We know that. So I have to multiply this by 2 to get 4. Multiply this by 2 to get 2. Now I can say 3 minus 2 is 1. And then my denominator doesn't change, 1/4. I'm going to show you another easier way to do this, and that's through a model. So going back to our original word problem, Sam has 3/4 of paint. So we're going to draw a bar. Okay. And it's all just really about labeling. To represent 3/4, I'm going to separate it into fourths. So it's easiest to cut in half. Okay, now I need to show that there's 3/4. So I'll go ahead and shade in 3 of these. And so this represents 3/4. But in our original problem, it says that he used 2/3 of it. Well, if this is my 3/4, and if he used 2/3, well, this is 3, and if he used 2 of them, I could say that this is what he used. 2 of the thirds, or another way to say it is 1/2 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, which is simplified to 1/2, which is what we got here when we multiplied. But that wasn't the end of the problem. It said, how much paint is left? Well, simply by using our model, instead of trying to find common denominators and all of that, we can say, well, the yellow represents what he used, and this is what he has left. So this is what he has left, which is another way of saying 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's what we got here. That's how you use the bar model. Let's try one more to see if you get this. So our new problem is Lily now has 4/5 of paint. She uses 3/4 to paint the wall. How much paint does she use? How much paint is left? We'll try to keep that. We'll keep this in the shot so you can hopefully see both here. So we're going to start with our bar. Since she starts with 4/5, we are going to cut this bar into 5 parts. See if I can try to do this as equally as I can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got my 5 parts. 4 of them is what she started with. Okay. But now it says that she uses 3/4 of them. But before we do that, let's go ahead and say, okay, this represents 4/5. But she uses 3/4. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 4. She uses 3 of these. She uses which is another way of saying 1, 2, 3 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She used 3/5. And how do we know the other question? Well, what's left? What's left out of what she used? We don't count this because she didn't even use that. There is no paint over here. What's left is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1/5. So hopefully you can rewind it, watch it again to see if it makes sense. There are a few ways to do this. Again, you can multiply and subtract, but you can also use this this bar graph to make it a little bit easier. Okay. Have a